Hello there, and welcome back.
What is this place?
Disconnected.
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 You have reached a number that has been disconnected.
Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to the Disconnected. You won't know this, but this is actually take two of a conversation with Mr. Mike Dennis and Sam Firstenberg. Gentlemen, thanks so much for doing this again.
Our pleasure.
Wonderful. We love to be on your show. It's wonderful.
We are here to talk about a movie that I've been anticipating for a long time, and that is Riverbend. Sam, you are the director of Riverbend. Can you tell us what Riverbend is?
Correct. Riverbend is a very, very unique, interesting movie. I wouldn't say it's a provocative subject. It deals with the racial injustice in the segregated South in the 1960s during the height of the civil rights movements. So it's controversial, it's different, it has a twists and turns in it, which are, I don't want to to get you all the spoilers, and fantastic ending, really unexpected ending. The star of the movie is Steve James, that I worked with him in American Ninja 1 and American Ninja 2, also in another movie, Avenging Force. And the co-star is Margaret Avery, the leading lady, Margaret Avery from The Color Purple. And so overall, and there is some other great actors, great performances, interesting subject, and more or less it tells the story of three black soldiers who are coming back from Vietnam to the South, to the deep South. They are not from the South. They are from Chicago, from California, and they witness the injustice. They see what's happening in a small town which is called Riverbend, and they want to correct. They decide to correct the situation, the bigotry which is going on in the town, and the way they know to do it is a military way. The way they learned in being in the military in Vietnam, and the rest of the story is the unrevealing or the evolution of what has happened in this little town, which they take the lead in helping the locals to resolve the problem. That's as much as I can reveal for now.
Well, on that note, Mike, can you share why you're here and you got stuck with the project for one that you've been working on for years? Stuck in a way that it's a mission that you've been longing to accomplish for a very long time.
I think it shows me somehow the serendipity is incredible, and that's what's been keeping us going. But basically, Riverbend was a movie that I was dangerously. It was never exploited on any physical media outside of VHS, right? It never played on cable TV. It never made it to Laserdisc. It didn't make it to DVD. So during the pandemic, or a little bit before, I had a brick and mortar screening series that I ran for 16 years in Philadelphia. And we never ran Riverbend there, but after I closed shop there, I decided I'd start putting rarities from my collection on YouTube, and one of them happened to be Riverbend. And maybe about 3 months later, I got an email from Sam Firstenberg, and I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be a cease and desist, He says, because the subject line was, I'm Sam Firstenberg, director of Riverbend. And I opened it up and said, no, you're doing the movie a great service. Thank you for putting it up and sharing it. It was independently produced, and it needs to be seen by as many people as possible, right? So, and what Sam didn't mention is that this film is unique in the sense that it shows Black people teaching one another how to stand up against their oppressor, right? So that automatically interests me. My YouTube channel is all about Black empowerment.
Yeah.
And I was just curious about how the film got made. So we started setting up interviews with Sam, me and Charles Woods, who actually turned me on to the film in the first place. And in the process, while we were talking, a 35 millimeter print of the film shows up on eBay. And I didn't know I didn't know what to do, but I knew it was a rare circumstance or instance. So I put a bid on it, won it. It was in South Africa of all places. And it literally took about 3 or 4 months for it to show up at my house. It was packed in a cardboard box with all kinds of tape on it and everything. And it sat under my desk for a good 6 or 8 months. And then I decided I should get this scanned and see what the quality is, and maybe we can show it around. And we did that, and the scan the print was horrible. I mean, Sam can take it from there, but
it was a print that was 35 millimeter print, the way we used to see movies, and maybe it ran through screening machines hundreds of times. Not all projectors are good. Some projectors create scratches, so it was heavily scratched, and dirt. When there is dirt on the print, it shows immediately in the digitized copy.
Right.
But there is a process of cleaning. Michael found somebody who knows the technology of cleaning, and the digital copy was cleaned from all the scratches and from all the spots, the dirt spots, which was amazing. But to our disappointment, we found out that 6 scenes were cut out of the print, either to make it short or for any other reason that we don't understand. Probably to make it it's longer than 90 minutes, and in theaters the best movies for timing is 90 minutes. So 6 scenes were missing, and we couldn't scan. The quality of the VHS that existed is very, very, I can say, very poor quality, very poor visual quality. So Michael tried to transfer from the VHS, but it looked terrible. It was very poor compared with the fantastic, at the time it was 2K resolution of the transfer to the digital transfer, and suddenly those scenes. So this was the fate of this, and we went, Michael, right? We went to few festivals with this digital print.
That's the serendipity. So we had Craig Rogers, who everybody watching knows, who is part of Deaf Crocodile video label. He did the initial restoration of the 35 millimeter release print that was cut, and we premiered that in Denton, Texas in January of 2024. Right. Mm-hmm. So
film festival
at the Denton Black Film Festival.
Black Film Festival, yeah.
And it was there that we met Valerie Vance, who was one of the original producers, and her nephew Marcus, who plays the son in the movie. And if it wasn't for them, we would not be here talking about a Blu-ray release or anything like that, because they helped us secure the rights and access the original interpositive and internegative and the original 35 millimeter sound elements as well. So what we have now, that's going to premiere in February in theaters around the country, starting in New York and Philadelphia, is a pristine 6K restoration done by Austin Squitieri of Real Revival.
Wow.
Out of the 4 original producers, which one of them was the writer, Sam Vance, wrote the script to this movie, only one is still involved with us. It's Valerie Vance. She was one of the producers. She helped, the wife of Sam Vance, and she helped him in writing, I remember at the time. And thankfully, she's still here. We still, even for the screening in Texas, we managed to we found the stunt coordinator of the movie. He lives in Texas, Mike Shanks. He came to the screening. Later on, for later screening, we got some of the cast members. Michael will tell you about it. So there are still many people. We found the original composer of the music. He's from Texas. So still pretty many people who were involved in making this movie are still around. And as we advance, we find and we make connection with more and more of them. So this is very nice. Just sadly enough, the writer, the brain behind the story, he's not with us anymore. He passed
And
away.
Steve, of course, also.
Sam Vance. Yeah.
I don't think we went into the serendipity there as much as we probably could have. What happened in Denton? Because it sounded like it was just planned for us to meet up with Valerie, but that's not exactly how it went, right?
Well, I mean, we started. Thank God for YouTube again, right? So we started doing like little promo pieces to advertise the Denton screening, and Marcus Coleman happened to see one of them and told his aunt Valerie, "Hey, they're bringing Riverbend back to Texas. You want to go?" And Harry and Linda Eady at the Denton Black Film Festival, they were so gracious. They provided accommodations for them to come to Texas and be with us on very short notice, but we hit it off right away. So that was the serendipity.
Yeah, because we were for a long time. We were looking more. When I say we, it was more Michael. He was looking for the Vances and for all the producers, and could not find. They just disappeared. Eventually, he made contact with the other two producers, not with Valerie Vance. And one day, I'm getting a email from Valerie Vance. So she found us eventually after a long process. Michael really put a lot of energy into trying to find her, but couldn't. And because he moved a few addresses and different telephone numbers, and suddenly she found us. So that's how everything. And it was only a few days before the screening in the festival.
But Ryan, get this one though. This is even more incredible how things connect, right? I mean, I really believe in what they say, the power of the universe, and when you start to like take a step forward, things start to happen. So after Denton, and there was a premiere screening of a movie called Naked Acts, which was going to be at the Lightbox Film Center, and I teach it. It's a Black film that I was very much aware of. Yeah. And so I made an extra credit assignment for my students at Temple University to attend. And we got free tickets to go. And, the majority of the class came. And I filmed the Q&A, which is on the YouTube channel. But what happened, I happened to be sitting next to Dennis Doros of Milestone Films. And at the end of the screening, I happened to tell him about Riverbend and the fact that we just did a premiere, but we had a release print. We couldn't find the negative, and there was, we couldn't go any further. And he said, well, I have this organization, missingmovies.org. Let me make a few phone calls. And this was on a Wednesday night. I think by Friday, he said, I found the negative. It's a photochem.
The original negative.
Yeah.
So we had to go through some legal maneuverings to be able to access the negative and all the 35 millimeter elements. But again, if I didn't bring my students to the screening and happen to talk to Dennis, we wouldn't be here today. So.
Milestone is a company that has put out some incredible underseen Black cinema already. So it's literally just people lifting each other up through this entire process. And I love to hear that. Milestone is one of those companies that I feel like people are still sleeping on in many different ways. That they'll mention, hey, this movie's never gotten attention. Then you find out Milestone put out that one and 5 others from the same director. And you're like, well, come on, they're out there.
They have all the Charles Burnett's, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Sam, you are somebody that is known for a lot of different movies. You're known for, of course, Breakin 2, known for the ninja films, known for a lot of very different style of movies than this one. So what originally got you into Riverbend?
In a way, luck. I was, as you mentioned, I was involved. I kind of, my career led me into action, and especially martial art action movies. Revenge of the Ninja, Ninja 3, the American Ninja. And but in between, I made some other movies like Breakin 2, Electric Boogaloo, and later on others. And I directed another action movie which was not martial art, which is called Avenging Force, with Steve James and Michael Dudikoff, the 2 stars of American Ninja. So by now I already made 3 movies. I had a chance to direct Steve James in 3 movies. And one day I was approached. My agent told me that someone is interested in me as a director and they will send a script. And this script arrived. It was called, at the time, it was called Night of the Eagles, not Riverbend. It has they had a different name. So I read the script and wow, I was so excited. That's really interesting. Social issues and historical in the South in the 60s. And I grew up with this kind of movies, To Kill a Mockingbird and Heat of the Night, and those kind of movies. That I grew up with those movies. I got very excited. So apparently, I think, and not strangely, but untypical, this movie was privately financed. It was not a company that financed the movie. It was private money that financed the movie. So they approached me through the agent. They looked for me, I guess, those four producers, and they approached me to an agent that I had at the time. Apparently, probably, I would say, because I worked with Steve James for 3 times, and they were interested in Steve James. So I think that's how destiny, my path and the path of Riverbend crossed and each other, and got together. I was very excited when I read this script. Really interesting. I really wanted to direct it. Eventually, they liked me. I liked them very much, the producers. They want me to help in bringing Steve James into this project. I knew it's not going to be any problem to bring Steve James. He would love this project because I read the script and I knew.
You owed him one.
I owed but this was a matter of luck. But I knew that he would like it. There was no question. A leader, military Steve. That's Steve, how he wanted to his image to be, and what Mike is alluding to, or it was a case when we made the movie Avenging Force. Steve plays a black politician in New Orleans who is running for office, and there is some white supremacy group. They don't like the idea. Eventually, they assassinate him, and Steve really didn't like the idea that he dies in the middle of a movie. I read the same thing about Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris never made any movies that he will die. But Steve really didn't like the idea that but this was the story, the whole premise, the whole idea of the story is that they assassinate this politician. Yeah. They don't want him. And he always told me, "You owe me. I mean, I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it for you because I know you. We made American Ninja, but you owe me." And so it happened that the chance came that I could repay my debt. I said, "Steve, I have something for you. I owe you. You always pay me. But when you read the script, you will accept it. That's it. I don't owe you anymore after this movie." So everything came together.
That's perfect.
As Michael said, some universal powers bring everything together. We don't know how.
Mike, Steve is an icon, obviously, in a lot of different ways. Can you share who Steve was for everybody that has never seen a Steve James film?
Well, I mean, my first introduction to Steve James was not in American Ninja or any of the martial arts or action canon films. It was first Hollywood Shuffle, and then later I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, where he plays Kung Fu Joe. But he was a very versatile actor who got his start going all the way back to Education of Sonny Carson. He has a very small appearance there in 1974, I believe it was, and he worked until 1993 when he died at a very young age of pancreatic cancer, age 41, I believe. And but he's probably best known for his collaborations with Sam Firstenberg, and but you'll see him pop up in small parts in lots of movies like Brother from Another Planet, To Live and Die in L.A. He worked with William Friedkin quite a bit as well as Sam.
Correct.
And Weekend at Bernie's 2, he has a memorable little scene or two in there. So, just gone too soon. A lot of people feel like he should have been the next American Ninja when Michael Dudikoff left. A lot of people believe that he should have taken over the franchise. And then,
or Click's the next American action hero in a way, even outside of the Ninja franchise. Yeah,
and or that he would have been the next person to be the black action star. That Wesley Snipes eventually became. Michael Jai White eventually became. All those people that we recognize now. Will Smith even stand on the shoulders of Steve James.
I heard, Mike and Ryan, I heard 2 weeks ago, very interesting story I didn't know. We had a screening of American Ninja in Atlanta 2 weeks ago. And the reason we did it because the producer of the movie American Ninja, Gideon Amir, lives in Atlanta and works in Atlanta. So we decided to do 40th anniversary screening. And while I was talking with him and we were talking, and he reminded me that he suggested Steve James for the part because he saw him in the movie The Mask. Yeah, he told me, Gideon, the producer, said, the minute I saw, we were either in the middle of writing it or whatever, and he told me that the minute he saw him on the screen in the movie The Mask, he knew that he will be Jackson in American Ninja. He's the right guy to be Jackson.
Amazing.
So I didn't remember that Steve was in The Mask.
All right, so Riverbend has been making a name for itself, mostly because of Mike pushing it out there for everybody. But over this last 6 months or so, it's really getting a name. And the big thing is you just had the West Coast premiere in LA for the first time. Tell us about the event, because when we first heard this was happening, I never expected to hear Viola Davis involved.
Neither did we. But listen, we found out the story. There is a whole story how the negative was found. Detective story. Mike just hinted about it, but that's a technical. And then there was another legal operation to somehow to get the rights, because the people who owned the rights, the company went bankrupt. The owners of the company all passed away, and the rights, it's a complicated issue, but the rights were lingering in the air, the rights to the movie. Neither here nor there, you cannot show the movie without permits. No theater will show a movie without permits, and there was nowhere to bring the permits from. But anyway, Michael had a lawyer, and they untangled it, and eventually we got the right. And then at that parallel, we found out that the movie never had a screening in the West Coast. It had few screening in the East Coast, but never any screening in the West Coast. So Michael we paired out together with the American Cinematheque, and we decided together with American Cinematheque to present the first premiere, the West Coast premiere that never happened 40 years ago, to do it now, 40 years later. So this was the premiere, and luckily enough, 3 of the actors lives in Los Angeles, and the representative of Steve James, his daughter. So let's say 4 actors are living in the Los Angeles area. Of course, Margaret Avery, the lead, Alex, and
Julius.
The two co-stars of Steve, and Debbie James, the daughter of Steve James. So Michael made most of the connection to all of them, and they all came to the screening. And Michael, you go ahead and tell us the surprise, the actors who came, and the surprise we had in the screening.
Serendipity again, So I mean, the other was Alex Morris and Julius Tenen were the 2 other soldiers that, along with Steve James in the movie, and by coincidence, Julius Tenen happens to be married to Viola Davis, and we knew we were going to do this premiere, and I said, well, we have to give Margaret Avery her flowers. Yeah. Right. And I had somebody else in mind to, another actor, woman actor, to present the flowers, but they were not available. So I went to my friend, Chat GPT, and I literally typed in, I said, of all the talented Black actors in America, who has most followed in the footsteps of Margaret Avery? And the very first answer was Viola Davis.
Amazing.
So I said, what are the odds of that? And Julia happens to be married to her. So, not there was a very little coaxing involved, but she came, she saw the movie, loved it, gave it a great endorsement. And then before that, she gave Margaret a bouquet of flowers and some very kind words that I hope you'll share on this podcast.
Everyone, please give a very warm welcome to EGOT winner Viola Davis.
Oh, is Viola here? Oh, so good. I love her.
Yeah, we've spent some time together, Margaret.
Yeah. What are we supposed to do?
They just asked me to say some words to you.
Oh.
And you know I love you, sis.
Oh.
And, I admire you. You're one of the beacons.
Okay.
One of the acting beacons out there.
Thank you.
And you absolutely inspired me when I was on the periphery just looking for a way in, and I saw you. You're always a beacon of truth and vulnerability and soft power, and always memorable. And you need to hear that because we don't often hear that. And so I want to honor you, and I want to do a double whammy here because I don't want to go on and on.
Okay.
But you happen to be in the center of a movie that still resonates today. I was totally in it. It's amazing that this movie, where it's a town where we've been raped and pillaged and killed and damaged, and we still have to fight to be heard. And it's always great to see that female power and energy in there. That energy of love, of a reminder of our humanity.
Oh, wow.
You're
making me cry.
So I'm going to honor this movie, which still, we need this right now. We need something that reminds us that we still have the power to fight back.
Absolutely.
Okay? But I love you, Margaret.
I love you back. And that
Honor
woman
you.
king, Lord.
And I bow to you.
You were buffed.
Oh.
Thank you. Oh, my goodness. This woman is so wonderful. I mean, you inspire me. Thank you.
Here you go, Queen.
Oh, my God. Oh. What can I say? Viola Davis honoring me. Oh.
And she,
Absolutely.
a few words of the decay. She talked about the legacy of Margaret Avery and
big ups to Imani Davis and the whole crew at the American Cinematheque. We could not have been treated better. It was a fantastic 35 years in the making Los Angeles premiere on September 14th, 2024, or October 14th.
And Ryan, we didn't mention that what we screened, it was in Santa Monica, California, in a big theater, and what we screened was an original 35 millimeter copy that we found sitting alongside the negative. When I went out there to some warehouse out there, I don't know where, Pasadena, somewhere at the end of Burbank, I picked up the boxes, and suddenly alongside the elements, the original elements, there was a print, a screening print, 35 millimeter original, beautiful screen, a print that was never screened before. And that's what we used for the American Cinematheque screen.
It was very nice. It was a very nice print. And then now, for people that missed that screening, we're opening it up in February, beginning in February. From February until the end of the year, we'll be doing spot dates around the country with the 6K restoration. We're booking dates after that. So if you're in a town and you want to see Riverbend and you feel like there's a sizable audience for it, we'll make the calls and we'll make it happen.
Incredible. The reception in the premiere, how'd it go? How many people showed up? Was it a major event?
I would say so. I mean, for something nobody.
This was a big theater. More than half of the theater was full. Like 70% of the theater was full. No advertising, nothing. People just, the word of mouth in the internet, in the Instagram, all the, Facebook, all of them, and just people showed up. Some of them were connected to the restoration, of course, but people just knew about it and learned about it, and they came. It was very exciting. Ryan, this movie was done in the end of the 80s, let's say 1990, and it came out. The story is 1965, before. So there was already implication. There is something to learn from the 60s in the development of the African American experience in America from the 60s to the 80s. But nowadays, when you see the movie, it has even bigger and amplified meaning or different meaning than it had in the 80s.
Yeah. Because
we went through a lot of things happening in America in this field of the African American Black experience in America. Yeah. So now the movie has even more interesting implication when you see it, audience. And we saw it also, Michael and me, with young audience, with students. And they were like, I don't want to say they were shocked, but they were very...
It stays relevant. It's still relevant to this day. True. I mean, the movie centers on a bigoted sheriff in a small town who terrorizes the local Black community. I mean, where have we heard that before? And the Vances were telling this story 35 years ago. Right. So it's to see that, art was used to communicate a solution back then can only help but inspire or invigorate audiences that have been denied that image of themselves, And then also it's a very entertaining film. I mean, people were applauding in the right places. I mean, it was a sizable enough crowd that there was a visceral reaction. And I think Viola Davis, she really captured the spirit of the night for us in her testimony. So
Damn.
Yeah, you have to make the point. It's not a preachy movie. It's not. It's not an education. It's not a PBS movie.
Oh no,
it's still a story with the plot and the good guys and bad guys and the whole thing.
And we've been used to showing it at Black film festivals, so it's a different reaction than showing it in Santa Monica, which is a more mixed crowd, and they still got it. And one of the biggest quotes that we got was in Denton. The gentleman from Cinema Force, he came out. He lives in Texas, and he said, "Never in a million years would I think that I would have an opportunity to see a movie directed by Sam Firstenberg, starring Steve James, that I've never even heard of in 2025, 2026. So it's a treat for action fans. And a lot of your viewers as well have jumped on board with the pre-sales of the Blu-rays. So I think people know how much of a gem this is.
Michael, also the reaction in Boston. We were in the Roxbury Film Festival in Boston.
Yeah.
There was also, they didn't know, most of the audience didn't even expect, they didn't know what they're coming to see.
Yeah, it was interesting because we were in a smaller room, so it was a little tighter, but the energy was the same.
Different feeling. I agree with you. When it's
they
internet,
thought it
it has a different feeling.
They thought it was made for them, like, wow, and the fact that it was basically suppressed. Like I said, it never played cable. I mean, how many movies from the 90s or 80s can you say never made it to cable? So there's some conspiracy theories about why that might be.
Yes, and what's crazy is so many of these movies, you used the word exploited earlier, and obviously blaxploitation is a very common phrase that is used for a few different definitions, we'll say. But in the 80s and 90s, a lot of these got more popular, and it's still amazing to me when you find one like this with names attached to it that was not allowed to happen like that. I mean, especially when they came out in like 90 essentially, and then you had all these things happen in the 1990s that would have given rise to popularity in something like this. You'd imagine, like in the wake of the Rodney King stuff, that this would have been something that people would have wanted to see, like genuinely had a hunger to see it. And so, yeah, I guess there's some stories behind why this may have been held back.
Yeah. There's a lot of beliefs, right, Sam?
It did not fit into the exploitation slot. Definitely, it did not, because suddenly you start with the movie. Oh yeah, action. You see soldier, but suddenly it takes a serious turn, totally serious turn. So it doesn't fit. So it's out of the exploitation immediately, of the exploitation field. And anyway, the subject is provocative, is a radical subject, but at the same time, Mississippi Burning also came out, which is it is kind of similar. I just read a review that somebody compared it to Mississippi Burning. This movie, when it was finished, the producer sold it to a small company, IRC release, and they sold it or gave the right or sold the right to Paramount, which is a huge company. So suddenly something here is suspicious. How come big company like Paramount will take a small movie, tiny budget movie, but Orion, there was a company, Orion, which was affiliated with Paramount, released. They released
Prism.
Paramount. Orion released Mississippi Burning.
Oh yeah, well, Orion ends up with Riverbend down the road. That's what confused me. Yeah.
Because Orion was a subsidiary of Paramount. Paramount and Orion were connected. So perhaps Paramount purchased the movie in order to stop the competition to Mississippi Burning. I don't think it's a big competition, because Mississippi Burning was big names, big stars, right. Gene Hackman and other big stars. So I don't feel that it was a competition. But for them, for music companies, for film companies to throw $1 million to buy some movie just to stop it from competing with another music artist or another movie, for them it's nothing. It's part of the... So they released it, Paramount released it on VHS cassette. It was just and very few, small amount of copies, very small amount of copies. And I must say, very poor visual quality, very poor quality. The cassette, the VHS cassette that they released were of a poor quality and very limited number.
Yeah.
And as I say, they only premiered it in the East Coast, not here, not in the West Coast at all.
Yeah, I worked at a store at the time, and we carried it, and I never watched it. Yeah, I never watched it. The poster did not appeal to me. The cover did not appeal to me. No one, I guess not enough people rented it to say that it was good, but it wasn't until years later when I got reacquainted with Charles Woods, who ran a store in New York called the 43rd Chamber. And we were going through his collection. He literally had 5 used copies of this thing. Like, he was picking them up from like swap meets in New York. And I said, why do you have 5 of these? And he's like, you have to watch this. And that's what turned me on to it. I was like, oh wow, this is revolutionary. What's being said in this movie really does not get seen in any kind of American film, mainstream or otherwise. There's only one other movie like this in my estimation, in the whole history of cinema, and that's The Spook Who Sat by the Door, which is another movie that came and went. It literally played for about 2 weeks and disappeared for decades. It's just now getting re-released.
Michael, but it makes sense. Even if you go to a video store, you rent a cassette, you take it home, and it has this murky grainy quality. You are not going to recommend it. It was a very poor quality physically.
Yeah.
Sound
Well,
was,
but it's kind of interesting to me that I avoided watching it until Charles told me about it because I love black cinema.
yeah. No,
And
it's your mission.
like I said, I'm a fan of Steve James. But maybe the fact that it was considered a straight to video, might have also been, even though it played theatrically and it had pedigree, the whole Canon Films thing. Maybe that's what kept people away as well. This whole straight to video, although straight to video action was very big at the time. And I guess this movie wouldn't have been made at all if not for the market of home video. It was done for very little. So,
yeah, but listen, you walk into a store and you see 20 copies of Star Wars, 6 copies of Mississippi Burning, and 1 copy of. So it makes impression on whoever walks into the rental store, and this was the only way to see this movie. And I guess there were not on every rental store. You would have Mississippi Burning was in every rental store. I don't think that Riverbend was in every rental store in the country.
Definitely not.
Copies have dried up now. I have not seen any show up on eBay in probably a year.
Yeah, because there are very few cassettes around, very few VHS cassettes.
They're landfill. So that's another reason. It's never looked better. I mean, I don't know if you're going to show clips of the restoration, but it's never looked better. We're going right from the interpositive of the film, which is the step right after the original camera negative. So it's color timed, and it's the first generation from the camera negative. So and it's been supervised by Sam, and it's immaculate. It looks good. Just looks amazing.
The cinematography is really good in this movie. Kenny Lampkin was a local. The movie was filmed in Texas, not in Atlanta, not in Georgia, not in Mississippi, but in Texas because the money came from Texas. And the people who invested, they insist that we film the movie in Texas, that we shoot in Texas. But, the area that we were in had the same look of the South. It's called the Waxahachie area in Texas, south of Dallas. So it has the look. So the movie was all, and all the actors, like even the actors who came to the screening, except Margaret Avery, they had a chance to see the movie in a premiere in Texas.
Oh.
Yeah, there was a premiere in. They told us Houston, Austin, or Houston. I don't remember. And so Alex and they saw it. They saw the movie in Texas.
Yeah, it played a few markets before it disappeared because Valerie had a print of the film as well.
She had a print.
Also, so they may have. I mean, from our discovery, there's one print that's in the Library of Congress, which you can't take out. You can go there and view it, and then the print I got from South Africa, then Valerie's print, which got mold damage, so that's unplayable. And then the 2 prints that were discovered in MGM's vaults. So that's literally the only film prints that exist of the film. Like I said, I think the one that I got from South Africa probably was the one that played the theatrical circuit around the world, So we know it played in Times Square. We know it played in Florida, Texas, and then Valerie's print played a few festivals in Chicago and Texas as well. So it's very, very, very rare to be able to see this on a big screen.
Mm-hmm.
So another reason why people should log in and check out the website for dates or send an email and say, hey, we want to play this where we live. So
Sam, I would love to hear your take on the fact that Sam Firstenberg is getting a lot of love right now. I mean, we've got Ninja the Domination, we've got Revenge of the Ninja, we've got American Ninja, we've got all these movies getting like these immaculate 4K restorations in 2025, and everybody rabid to see them still, almost 40 years later. How's that make you feel?
Ryan, this is the magic of the world of cinema. I don't have an explanation or formula. I cannot break it down. Revenge of the Ninja was made more than 40 years ago. By now, it's like 43 years ago. And this was the first martial art movie I directed, Ninja 3 The Domination, then came American Ninja. And those movies, they got decent release. MGM picked them up from the company that produced them was Canon Film, which also there is a big revival about Canon Film.
Yep.
But anyway, those movies were picked up by MGM. So they had a decent release for a low budget, independent type of movies. And then they kind of subside. They died. It went down. And this was our prediction. We always thought that, okay, we're making movies that will go into video stores for 5 years, 4 years, people will see them, and then they will disappear in what I call the abyss of time. They will disappear in the cave over there, cave of time, abyss of time. And so it was for the first 10 years after making them. I didn't hear a lot about them. There was a lot of influence. There was the Ninja Turtle, and then Kill Bill by Tarantino. So there was the legacy kept on, but the movies themselves, the ninja movies, kind of, and even Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo, and then at the beginning of the 2000s, and suddenly I start to get a call. Can we interview you? Would you like are you willing to do an interview? At the beginning, it was all pressed. It was all written interview. Slowly, people like you, more video, more, and it's just growing and growing. And you're right. Especially 5 movies out of the many movies that I directed, 25 movies, but 5 of them, the Revenge of the Ninja 3 The Domination, which became totally cult movie, real cult movie, Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo, which became an iconic symbol of the 80s, and of course American Ninja, which completely went bananas all over the world. It so became so popular. But maybe again, I say there is no way that I can explain it rationally, tell you why. This is what the audience like. That's what people like. But perhaps, maybe, in those movies, which are action movies or a dance movie, it was a low-budget outfit, low-budget movies, medium budget. Everything that we have created on the screen is physically performed.
Yep.
We didn't have no screen, yellow, green screen, blue screen, cables, digital effects, nothing. Everything, 99% of the things that you see on the screen are physically performed. Even Michael Shrimp dancing on the ceiling was physically performed. No optical gimmicks, no optical effects. So, and all the action, every fall, every hit, every dragging stunt people behind cars, it was all performed. And perhaps maybe when people are watching it today, and they are used to see the Fast and the Furious, okay, superhero, which the action is spectacular, but your brain is telling you it's not real. A car is flying from one building to another building. Your brain is telling you nothing like this can happen.
Right.
And suddenly they see those movies, and those movies have a raw feeling, has a feeling that, wow, even if you're not conscious as an audience, as a viewer, you're not consciously sitting there and analyzing it, but still subconsciously you feel something here is real. There is something here. And perhaps maybe that's part of the attraction and the reason for the growing popularities of those group of movies. Of course, there are other directors in this group who did Sheldon Lettich, who did all the Van Damme movies, and Toby Hooper and others.
Well, you're a legend.
So that maybe this is the answer. I don't know.
Yes. No, I didn't know at the time how legendary Sam was. I mean, people literally travel for miles, hundreds of miles to meet Sam and share their stories about growing up watching his films, So it's been a treat this last 12, 13 months just being on the road with Sam and hanging out, and recording audio commentaries and hearing the stories. So,
well, speaking of audio, go ahead, Sam.
Excluding Breaking to Electric Boogaloo, all the other movies are like for men, for the boys. So the original crowd, they were teenagers when they saw it. Of course, they were 12, 10, 14, 15. Now they show it to their sons, and they come to the screening. The screening in Atlanta, a guy came with his son. He is now 45, and his son is like, let's say 11. And they came together to get the autograph and to meet me and to just, and the father was so proud, and he said, I saw it, and now I saw it together with my son. So it keeps playing.
Just an amazing body of work. I mean, even I had never seen the quote that Tarantino gave about American Ninja until recently. So he's a huge fan, and our biggest hope is that he'll endorse the product as well. So
absolutely, we really hope that
we're close. So if anybody watching actually knows Tarantino directly, have him reach out. We'll get him a screener so we can have something to put on the box cover. But yeah, I mean, amazing global influence and impact, the work of Sam Firstenberg. So it's great.
Well, the box cover, we got to talk about the Blu-ray. That's one of the main reasons we're here. Tell me about the physical media that we are producing for Riverbend, Mike.
Well, this is the mock-up, which is changing, so, but, and done by Samurai Guinea Pig, Alan Pyrie, overseas. And the artwork itself was illustrated by Aaron Kai. It's hand-painted artwork. We had to make some revisions. At the time, we were trying to court controversy, but as time progresses, we realized that it's probably safer to go all-American. So this is the all-American one sheet. If you have the original mugs and posters, those are collector's items now, but this artwork is done by Aaron Kai. What do you think, Ryan? I'm just curious.
I mean, it's iconic already. It's so freaking great. It's a strong poster. Steve James looks amazing.
We really wanted to create the feeling of the posters of the 80s.
Yeah.
This was intentionally. So in our conversations with Aaron, the artist, this is hand-painted poster that you saw, hand-painted. And when in our conversations with him, before we started to work on it, we expressed our feeling that we would like to really have something that will remind us of the 80s. So Schwarzenegger, Stallone, this kind of person, Chuck Norris. So he really encapsulated this feeling of the posters of the 80s in this poster.
Well, one of the themes of the movie is it revenge or is it justice? Right. And we always all of us felt that Steve James was denied the justice of being the star of his own canon movie, and Riverbend is very close to that with the DNA of Sam Firstenberg and the amount of action that's in the story. So we said, what if Steve James was a star of a canon film from 1989? What would that poster look like? And that's what Aaron came up with. I mean, in collaboration with Sam and myself, but when you're right, you fight.
So it really, this poster encapsulates the feeling of the movies of those movies of the 80s, the superheroes of the 80s.
Yeah, and it feels like that for sure. It is genuinely. It's one that I am just eager to have on the shelf. I was stoked to be able to back it, and now we got it coming sometime mid 2026-ish, correct?
Juneteenth, 2026, June 19th, 2026. Perfect. The Blu-ray will be available. It will be in people's hands on Juneteenth. And before that, we'll have opportunity to see it on the big screen, like I said, beginning in February in New York and Philadelphia. And we're looking for other dates as we speak. Also, if you haven't pre-ordered or you're like, hey, I don't really want the Blu-ray, but I want to see the movie like streaming, or whatever, we're going to do our Kickstarter campaign beginning in February to get the final funds that we need to make sure that this happens for everybody. So, the best way to keep track of that is just to go to riverbendrestored.com, riverbendrestored.com.
Riverbend.
Perfect.
Yeah, we have a feeling that we'll have another screening in Texas, and we'll probably have in Atlanta in the South, a screening in the South. We'll work on it.
There's a cadre of theaters around the country that do restorations and repertory work, so and then ultimately we'll also be taking the 35 millimeter print to specific places that only show 35. So that's an option as well. But with the digital format, we can go to as many cities as possible, not just in the United States, but around the world with it. So, have hard drive will travel.
It's interesting. There is a lot of interest from Germany for some reason. We already got a couple of people who contacted us. Can they represent the movie in Germany? If they can represent, asking if they can.
Oh yeah, the Blu-ray is going to have subtitles too. I went through a whole thing. I thought that because the movie came out in Germany and in Greece, it came out in France and Canada, so it was in French as well,
and in Spanish.
And in Spanish, I thought I needed to transcribe the dubbing of those VHS tapes to create subtitles, but actually, what's simpler is to take the American captions and translate them automatically. So we're going to have it at least 4 different languages: English subtitles, Spanish, French, German.
Nice.
So people, and it's a region-free disc. You just have to cover the shipping, but you can pre-order the disc now at Riverbend Restored as well, and it's going to be a ton of extras, interviews, demonstrations for the restoration, demonstrations of how the poster was created, audio commentary with Debbie James and Sam Firstenberg, as well as a cast commentary with Sam that we recorded at Sam's house.
Julius, Alex, Margaret, and you'll have an album, photo.
Oh yeah, album. We'll have a limited run of compact discs of the soundtrack as well.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that was the beauty of getting the original elements from MGM, who was basically paying rent for them for 35 years and couldn't do anything with them. So they were happy. I mean, they literally unloaded them on Sam's on Sam that day. I don't know if I think you were slightly overwhelmed with the amount of material that they had held on to.
When I went there with a van with my SUV, and suddenly there's so many boxes coming out. I was surprised.
So the beauty of it was
optical sound, negative sound, original sound.
We had the 24-track
boxes.
24-track 1-inch reel magnetic tape premix.
The old tape, the big tape.
Big steel reels, and our friends at Drexel University helped us, and Love Philly Records coordinated that for us to transfer the audio and create a new soundtrack CD. So, and we're trying to give the album cover sort of a retro look, so people have something else that they can collect and feel like they're experiencing it again for the first time. So,
well, one thing I do want to highlight before we call this, there are so many people that are out there working in this industry, so many companies putting out films nowadays. It's expensive. It's hard to get the certain things that you want. I really want to point out for a moment how important it is to support small things like this specifically, because other companies are putting out certain movies that have seen 85 releases, literally on home video, and that's not exaggerating. Riverbend has not had a good release ever. It's not had a proper release in decades. It's not had a backed release like this ever. But beyond that, it is coming from a group that clearly has a passion for the film. It is coming from a group that saw this and said, we can make something with this. We can bring this back to the world in a way that is more relevant than ever. And it has already affected people. I mean, I've got people in my Discord that pre-ordered the movie pretty much day one that got personalized thank you videos from you saying thank you for pre-ordering this, and everybody was just genuinely touched that a company out there cares so much that they will do that. And so just on behalf of everybody, because I'm sure you don't hear it that often, thank you for putting that sort of a personal touch on it. That's so rare.
No,
well, thank you, Ryan.
I must tell you, since I know Michael, I know him now for 4 years, three or 4 years. Michael and Real Black together are really dedicated to this one purpose of recovery and restoration of black cinema. 100%, and that's like a non-profit organization. Like I said, they don't make it to be rich, to become rich. They believe, he really believes in his mission. Maybe you see this as your mission in life, to restore, to recover, to discover, recover, and restore black cinema to where it's supposed to be. By the way, I told Michael before that Steve James was also an avid collector of black cinema. I had many, at the time it was all VHS, the other type of cassettes and laser discs of black cinema, going all the way back to silent cinema, black silent cinema. Steve James had a big collection, huge collection.
Yeah, it's been a dream of mine to have a label, but there's not a lot out there that's accessible. So when this happened, I jumped at it, and it's been a lot of work to get us to this moment where we can say that we're in theaters and we're coming to Blu-ray, and and I just have to thank you for your support, Ryan, of giving your platform, your bullhorn, the attention that this movie deserves, I think. And you've seen it, so it's not, it's a gem. It's really something that more people need to see and will appreciate in their collection. I've seen it probably more than any person on earth at this point. I've seen it at least 4 dozen times. But and I don't get tired of it. I see new things in it every time, and I can't wait to share it with more people. So I appreciate your support, Ryan, and
of
Sam.
Course.
And I wouldn't be doing this if not for Sam. Like, if Sam was a complete jerk, forget about it. But
no, we're going together. We're moving together.
He's one of the best people on the planet, and he supervised the entire project, and he does it with not kid gloves. He knows what he wants. He knows what works. And as I watch his other films, I see his spirit in those films. It's amazing. Like, if you spent the hour with us, Sam's spirit is one of not laid back, but just positivity, and I think there've been some days where I didn't want to continue to do this, and I would have cut the ties from it. But like I said, if serendipity is the theme of this conversation, it's just, I can't wait for the next one to happen. What the next moment will be that amplifies and say, yes, this is the time for Riverbend 2026.
Incredible. Well, I wish you both nothing but the best. I sincerely hope the theatrical run is incredible, and I hope we can make a screening in Kansas City here work. We'll have to talk about that. We got a theater that just literally this last week finalized their install of a 35 millimeter projector. So, yeah,
awesome. Well, I mean, the DCP is the way to go. But what would be fantastic is for this to be a success, and we can continue to rescue more films.
Yep.
This is not the only one that's out there, and we have our finger on the pulse of a few titles. I learned my lesson not to announce too early, but 2026 will have at least one other release coming away. So
incredible!
Excellent.
Love to hear that. All right, well, thank you, gentlemen. Hope you have a good night and stay safe, and we'll talk soon, I'm sure.
Thank you too.
The one movie that Steve James was really the main star, we have here an opportunity to bring it back to life.
Hey boy, I want to talk to you. Answer me! This is my answer.
When I saw it, I said, holy cow, this is a filmic anomaly.
I love this film.
Hi, I'm Michael J. Dennis, and I'm the founder of Real Black. Riverbend, starring Steve James and Margaret Avery, tells the story of 3 Black Vietnam soldiers who teach a small town how to stand up to an oppressive sheriff.
Maybe you could stay here and help us protect ourselves, or show us how to do it.
Riverbend is an underwatched, overlooked classic.
What I found was a forgotten chapter in Black cinema history. A film that should have been part of the conversation, but wasn't.
But just to be very sure, I would say yes.
I don't ever want to hear the words boy or colored used again.
It was healing. It was an elixir from my soul with everything that's happening in the zeitgeist today. I think that we need this movie.
After 2 years of legal hurdles, we secured the original elements from the Amazon MGM vault and restored the film in stunning 6K.
I think he would be so happy that this movie is coming back to life.
And now, we invite you to be part of this journey.
I think this is a film, so I think it's worth the money, and I think it's worth the time to sit in that theater for 2 hours and watch it and let it be the healing balm.
If this work matters to you, join us. Make a pledge today.
Thank you for watching The Disconnected. On the way out, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you've liked the video, and that you've copied the link to be able to share it with someone else that may appreciate this.